Welcome back to VFRadio. In this segment, we'll be talking about restaurants and business in general. I have a question for some of the business owners and even the potential employees when you guys are sitting down at the interview table. Do you articulate the policies to your employee? And for the employee that's actually taking the interview, what is your perception of the policies and what goes on in the business? You see, a common mistake that I see with a lot of restaurants, specifically restaurants, because it involves food and last minute orders, etc. If someone walks up to your establishment and let's say you close at 10 p.m. and it's 9:40 to 9:45, what do you do? Do you tell them that you are about to close at 10 p.m.? Or do you tell them that the last order is before 10 p.m.? You see, there's a really big difference, especially for the owners, because the owners want to make money and they want to suck up every single resource that they can get from a customer as far as an exchange of money for food or for an exchange for money for a drink. Now, there's a big difference, obviously, when you have to stop serving alcohol at a certain time. So we're not going to dedicate this towards alcohol, because alcohol, there is a cutoff time and you have to stop serving alcohol before the time that it cuts off. And, most establishments, especially the nightclubs and the bar industry, they'll close, let's say 2 a.m. because that's the last drink that someone can consume is past 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. I'm sorry. And in some cases, depending on what state you're in, you can serve up till 2 and then people can linger around, after, as long as you're not serving alcohol. So when it comes to food, are you telling your customers that the last food can be entered in by 10 p.m.? Or are you telling them at 9:40 that they have to order quickly because the kitchen's about to close? Or are you saying at 9:40 you're not going to serve them anymore because you close at 10 p.m.? Let me articulate this for you. I have a nice presentation for you guys. And stick around to after the video and let's talk about it. You know what? I don't want to make money today, said no business owner ever. I'm going to address business in general. However, I'm a restaurant man, so this theme will be restaurants. Whenever there are empty seats in your establishment, it is costing you more money because you are not making any, only pulling from your cash reserve if there is one. Staff is on the clock, the watt meter is running, and the water is flowing. You know what? You don't have to pay rent this month, said no landlord ever. Each square foot of your business has a value. From my experience, you are looking at about $2 to $20 a square foot a month for a medium-sized establishment. And the landlord will be there at the end of the month expecting their, let's say, $7 per square foot. Let's consider you have about 200 person capacity in a great location. It's going to cost you. And the last thing you want is an empty place. Now, I'm not talking about an occasional off-season downtime period or a few days to a few weeks being slow after New Year's Eve. I am talking about an establishment that is suffering and does not know why. Well, it could be a few things. Let's go through a short list. 1, you genuinely don't know how to run a business, which is okay as long as you can admit that to yourself and want to do better. It's okay. Look, some of us dive into owning a business, specifically a restaurant, thinking it is easy because they see others thriving. However, it takes a lot of time and patience and never-ending hard work. If you love working in chaos, this is the job for you. Me personally, I like the chaos. I love the chaos. That's where my comfort zone is. A really busy establishment, specifically, again, a restaurant. And 2, maybe you have experience running a business, but you are lazy and incompetent or inconsistent. Consistency may sound like an obvious and simple thing, but it packs a punch to your establishment, and not many business owners are consistent. Punctuality is equally fundamental, especially in 2020, where everything is fast. Right now, too late, early bird gets the worm. There has been too many places I worked for where the owner arrives a few minutes or about 30 minutes before they are supposed to be open for business, depending on the circumstances, because there are some exemptions. But from what I experienced, it was pure negligence. Now let's get down to the meat and potatoes. You do not close at 10 p.m. You stop taking orders at 10 p.m. And you do not open at 9 a.m. You start taking orders at 9 a.m. It is a simple common practice to stay on time, follow the times that are on your door. All the major franchises follow that simple rule. Why? Because consumers want consistency. They want to know if they are getting in their vehicle or about to catch a bus or a train, Lyft or Uber, that they will make it on time to get what they need, whether it is food or a basketball. Most consumers are on a schedule and they follow it, whether you are ready for them or not. So to keep it simple, be ready to serve at the time you say you are open and be ready to take your last order until the time it says you are closed. The last order should be taken at 10 p.m. if that is when you are closed, not 9:40. Unless it involves alcohol, then that's another story for another day. So let's talk about how we can accomplish this consistency. Depending on the size of your establishment, you will need time to open. One of the businesses I used to help manage, the place opened around 11 p.m. I would show up there around 9 a.m. right after I dropped off my daughter, and had it not been for that, I most likely would have been there at 8 a.m. It takes time to prepare for a shift because I care, and I want to succeed, and I also want my staff to be comfortable and content. The more comfortable and relaxed the staff is, the more money that goes into the register, because consumers want to be treated correctly and want to depend on you to be open when they arrive and ready to serve, and never close on them before your posted times. Here's an example. If a potential customer comes to open your door at 9:15 a.m. and the door is locked and you are not ready to serve them, the chances of them coming back are slim to none. If they do come back and it happens again, you lost them forever, and hope and pray they are not popular or know a lot of people, someone who could possibly influence many people to go there or not. Same thing for the evening. If someone shows up on a date and plans to give your establishment a chance for the first time in 2 years that they knew you were located there, and they show up at 9:45 p.m., however, your time says you close at 10 p.m. and the chairs are already going up and the employees or manager is signaling get out by continuing to clean or stock without coming to you right away, those people may never come back, ever. Here is the interesting part about some employees in the game. Not everyone, so hear me out before you take offense, and if you do, you probably already guilty for it. I have been. The cook would throw a tantrum because they want to go home, yet they need money, thus needing hours. The server would get upset because they will probably make about $15 at the table, however, the cook makes about $12 an hour. The manager will become frustrated because they're tired of hearing staff complain, and the customer will hopefully get good service, or they will get poor service and never go back. All because the workers want to go home. But wait, what about the business? The owner can make maybe another $60 to $100 for that date. If you do that last minute order at $70 times, let's say 365 days a year, that's about $25,000 at the end of the year, and about $3,000 for the owner after expenses. Now let's times that last minute order by 3 or 5 and boom. That's about $15,000 a year extra for the owner a year after expenses. Do you see how that works? And vice versa to the morning. You see, McDonald's is extremely successful because of consistency, consistent hours of operation and food. But let's stick with opening and closing for now. If you're a manager or an owner, if you sat your employee down before you hired them or potential employee during an interview and you said, we stop taking orders at 10 p.m. and we start taking orders at 9 a.m. It's a big difference because you're not closing at 10 p.m. We close after all chores and duties are done, period. Doesn't matter if it's 11:15. There is no deadline to close. The establishment needs to be closed correctly. You can't predict the time that you're actually going to close. If you put a cap on that time, let's say I want everybody out of here by 11 p.m. What's going on? You're never going to get your establishment closed correctly. And for the employee that's at the interview, if the owner or the person hiring says that they close at 10 p.m., the last order is at 10 p.m. because someone could be still eating from 9:40, an order that they put in at 9:40 and still be eating because you don't want to rush people to eat their food. And it might be 10:20 by the time they leave. So technically you're still open, you're just not serving anymore. It's a whole different way to look at it. The truth is, everyone is a team when it comes to any business, including the business owner. They are a part of the team as well, and you want to look after the business owner as well as you look after yourself. It can be selfish if you're trying to rush out the door without getting your duties completed, or your chores completed, or your checklist completed. and just leaving the business hanging because you made plans. When you're a part of this business or the industry, if your restaurant again says that they close at 10 p.m., you might want to reserve at least 2 hours till after that before you make plans. 12 a.m. should be the latest that you get out of there, and that depends on what establishment you work for, what position you have, and where it's located. If your establishment closes at 10 p.m. and you made plans with your friends at 10:45, you are already putting yourself in a position where you could become stressed out because now you just want to go home and hang out. You have to program your mindset so this way you can be anxiety free, you can focus on your actual job, you can take care of the customer, take care of the business owner by taking care of the customer and taking that exchange of money and putting it in the cash register. And in the long run, you'll be a better worker, you'll be a better employee, you'll be a better person, you'll be stress-free, and you'll be more organized when it comes to these things. There is an abundance of information to discuss, but I just want to keep it here and just wanted to present to you why you should always be prepared to take the last order at the time that you close and never before. And that consistency will make you very successful. And if the company that you work for doesn't follow these simple principles, then you should find a company that's successful and consistent. This way you're not wasting your time. I hope you guys take care, and I'll catch you in the next video.
All aboard!